Reusse Unchained, presented by Josh Arnold, investment consultants, Mr. Money Talk. Pat, the Minnesota Twins, your thoughts?
Well, let me start by saying this. Somebody yesterday sent me a photo from the St. Cloud Times in the mid 1960s when Mike Augustine and I had a football prediction contest. I think it was mostly area schools. And Augie was putting a dunce hat on me, and then they had a cut line on that. And it got me thinking about Augie because when the Augie's deal, because there was an old sports writer named Bob Beebe who then became a scorekeeper, and when things went bad for the Twins, he would always go ooh ooh ooh, right? So then when you if there was a terrible loss for a Minnesota team, Augie would just call you and go hoo and hang up. Right now he's been gone for a long time, but that was definitely a who. That was been a 3 you hoo caller last night, don't you think? A 3 or 4 you hoo caller. God Almighty, how can you not get a guy home from second base? What, 3 innings in a row? All you got to do is get a guy home from second base.
At
What a
one point, they
bunch of
brought in
clowns.
that Peterson 7'3"
Yeah.
pitcher, whatever he was, could not throw a strike for like 10 minutes. But
hmm
he even threw like 3 or 4 strikes that crossed the plate as strikes, but the catcher was so incompetent he couldn't catch the pitches, and you still
What,
can't
a-
scratch across
what
him.
an embarrassment! What an embarrassment! I mean, it's last night was just unbelievable that they would do this. Judd and Declan. Were you there, Declan, too?
Yes, we were.
Did
Yep.
they?
Side by side.
Did
Yep.
they? How rowdy was the small crowd of booing and
At
screaming? And
at the end there was Fire Rocco chants, but it was actually kind of hilarious because it was dueling chants. It'd be Fire Rocco, and then someone else would yell, "It's not his fault. Blame Jim Polad." Like it
yeah,
was literally
yeah. How
dueling
about
chants of who's to
fire
blame.
about 14 of the players? How about that?
Also
Let's
true.
do that. Let's start with that. I was trying to think of, okay, who do you bring back? I don't think you can bring back Carlos Santana, can you? Not after not
Not
after
for
the
the last
last two
month, I
months.
don't think.
No,
Not after
he's
2 months.
30. He's
Yeah, I
37 or
know,
whatever.
dead body. So I was kind of going around. Kirillov's finished. Kepler's finished.
Can we also talk about? I'm not saying you're going to boot him off the island, but the sort of fitting way that the game and season basically ended. You had earlier this week Carlos Correa calling out
Yes,
teammates for not doing enough, not trying
yes,
hard enough, all
yes.
these things, and then he gives up halfway down the line and starts trotting. The
Yeah,
Marlins are the Marlins. They try to throw the ball away into right
yeah.
field, and Correa gets beat because he loafed it to first base.
I had the exact same thought that when you have missed as much time as him, it takes a lot of guts to be calling out other people. That's for sure. I think that I'm there over there tomorrow night or tonight, and I'm supposed to write a obit and on them, and it was. I think Carlos would get his share of attention in that thing for sure.
Well,
I feel like
and
there's some Turkey of the Year
Yes.
candidacy
Oh
here being
God.
really
oh,
strongly
oh, that's
solidified.
been the case, I think, for quite some
It will
time.
be.
Oh.
I mean, I can't imagine what would be. Somebody would have to expose himself in church to beat out some of the Twins this year. I would think Jordan Addison would have to do something even stupider than what he's done already. I would think
It
to
wouldn't be as
to
much fun
unseat.
though. The fans want a pound of Polad flesh
Yes.
or a Twins flesh, and so I don't think
Yes.
there's anyone else now. But I mean,
No.
here, Pat, to go back, so Correa not only did that last night, but on Wednesday night got himself doubled up,
Yes.
and then last night, I mean, it's bad enough that Jeffers pops up that bunt; it's a complete disaster. But Santana is nowhere near second base. The first baseman caught it, and he looked at second, and he like just stared at it because he's like, "This isn't happening." And he's like, "Oh, I guess I should throw it."
So what do you think about? You think The Rock is in trouble? Do you think? The rumor I heard is he might quit. But that's obviously not terribly well sourced. So it's just
Well, that's
somebody.
some good reckless speculation right
Yeah,
there,
that is
Patrick.
some good regular speculation, but that he's got the kids running all over the house, and he's he probably gets sick of these jackasses coming down and telling him what to do every day, and you know, uh, uh, Wes Johnson quit because Josh Kalk was walking around the clubhouse every day telling everybody how to pitch and stuff like that, and I wonder what plus. I think the day they came in and put the lights in there and told Rocco we're putting in new lights, that's going to carry you. He and I have made some lights jokes together when people haven't been around. These idiots, they cannot go and find a pitcher, but they have a scientist telling them
Yeah.
that they need
Yeah.
brighter lights. I mean, you, they're cutting money. Okay, they're cutting money. They got to get rid of 50 people in that baseball department, at least. They got people doing stuff that's ridiculous. Get rid of 50 jobs there, and you can get another pitcher, for God's sakes. They got like 150 of these people walking around now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and the irony of a guy named Scott Blewett taking the official
Yes.
L in that game. I mean,
Yeah,
the
poor
material
Scott-
writes itself.
Poor Scott Blewett. How many innings he have to pitch, for goodness sake? What was he? He was out there about 3 innings, wasn't he?
Was
Wasn't
it
he?
parts of 3? It was like he was
Yeah.
inning in 2/3, but it felt like he
Yeah.
was out there for an hour.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's I don't know. It's it'll be it might be it's fan appreciation weekend. You better be giving them free beer and $50 bills or
Free
something.
tomatoes to throw at the Twins player or
Yes.
employee of your choice. You can turn
Yes.
around and toss them at the press box.
How
You can
about a dunk tank down outside the
Ooh, I love a dunk tank.
outside the front gate? Who Joe? That's what Joe Paulette should do. He said, we're not real proud of what happened here, and I'm going to go and get. You can donate to the community fund and throw 50. Give me $50, and you can throw me in the dunk tank. So
We're not going to spend any more money on the pitching
But-
staff,
but
but you
here was
can
a-
send me to the dunk tank.
Here,
Pat,
I was having this thought though. The Wild are the Wild. They could end up with 23 points this year, and they'd still pack it in, right? The Vikings are high, riding high, fantastic. The Wolves have never been. This is probably the most popular they've ever been. The Lynx might win another title. They're going to be in the semifinals. And the Looney Tunes got their crowd, right? Those people show up, and they know who these people are, and the rest of us don't. But that's okay. But these guys are in trouble. These guys are in trouble with the public right now.
Yeah, is this because there's always been like little,
Yeah.
2011, the public would rise up, but then they'd still 40,000 people a game.
Yeah.
Pat, I put this tweet out. So Wednesday night attendance figures. And you had 7 teams that were hosting either a game in which there were playoff implications or like a number 1 seed. Dodgers 52,000, Phillies 42, Tigers 32,000, Astros 32,000, White Sox 18,400, Twins 18,100. The White Sox outdrew the Twins on Wednesday.
But the 18,000 was what?
Announced, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, both places.
Well, I don't know.
This is the most trouble they've been public perception in my lifetime.
But you guys,
Besides contraction.
But this is why they have no choice but to make some type of major change. You cannot sit there and here's the thing too. You're going to lose every rights fee that you had because you have to go to streaming. Bally's might be out, okay? So how do you not make some type of significant change? How do you fire David Popkins when you're about to ask people to buy season tickets, when you're about to ask people to subscribe to a channel that's going to be that's going to operate on subscriptions? They have to do something. They can't be that stupid.
No, and I'm not I'm not anti-Rocco, and I don't think that's what you do. I mean, I don't. If you want to do it, fine. But they gotta. You can't do what you did this year. You can't say I'm right sizing the payroll, and that everything they did this year was
Stupid.
bad PR. But somehow they played good for 3.5 months, and you know, I was they played good long enough almost for you to say maybe they aren't frauds, but then it turned out they were frauds. So, they, as I said before, I'm more surprised by them playing good for 3.5 months than I am this. And because I just don't think they're any good. I don't like the club at all. And Joe Ryan getting hurt, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But
Shane
I,
Bieber got hurt. Alex Cobb got
yeah,
hurt.
right. That's what I'm saying. Is there's how would you like to be calling up your clients right now and saying, you want to not want to renew for next year?
Oh
Wow.
man.
But
Oh my
the
God.
collapse is just the cherry on top. This starts with cutting payroll. This starts with putting Corey Provis, your trusted play-by-play guy, on a call and saying blackouts are over, and then saying sorry,
Yeah.
we lied. This is just the end of a complete public relations nightmare.
And here is the other thing that you must deal with. Baseball is not does not have its standing as a element to the youth of America that it had, 20 years ago, even 40 years ago for sure. But in baseball as an entity is in trouble, compared to what it used to be, and compared to the fact that you're playing 162 games a year and you got to get people invested from middle of March to the end of it, until November 1st, and I they there's a lot of things that that they're in trouble over, but most of all, this has just been. I mean, yesterday was absolutely. If you're doing a film on the season that's honest, this is your watching the extra innings last night are this lead, right? Isn't
Yeah.
that it? The start last night, unbelievable. And you know what? My Star Tribune didn't have the game story in it, by the way. I don't know. How about you, Judd? Did you get the game story? Did
Yeah,
you
Oh, I
watch
not
Substack.
only got that, I got a picture of Larnick on the bench, a very dejected. No,
Oh,
see,
okay.
I got the
I
whole
got I
thing.
got the I don't
Love
know.
my carrier. Throws the
My problem
paper
is I
perfect
think
into my
my
hand.
carrier is too ambitious. She gets there too early in the morning
Oh
because
no,
I
you won't.
didn't even get the gamer. So anyway, it's unbelievable. I don't know. It's now
But
people are you can badmouth so many people, and of course it starts with cutting your payroll, but there's other things going on here too. That the decision, just the decision making of the guys you brought in, Manny Margot. What do we want him for? He sucks. Okay, bringing back Farmer. Why is he still here? Oh, he's good in the clubhouse. Who gives a bleep? What the guys they brought back. How about bringing back Donovan Solano instead? Because he can get a hit.
yeah,
I like. You know what I like? I don't like guys good in the clubhouse. I like somebody who can get a hit. That's
yeah.
who I like. You know,
It's not wrong.
and yeah, I don't know.
By
Wow.
the way, the statement that the Twins put out after the playoff run ended last year is making the rounds on Twitter here, where it's this
Okay.
clearly like some PR firm or like I don't know, like an ad agency or someone put together the corniest copy ever, thanking the fans. But the last paragraph of this, in all the ups and downs and pun incoming curveballs this season through your way, you watched, listened, even traveled cross country to catch your Twins. That's what made this season different. Imagine what next season could be. Imagine spring training has already started. Actually,
Listen.
don't imagine, believe.
Yeah. Well, when you're in this size of market where it fits in the big picture of baseball, every season is unique. There is no guarantees of rampant success. Like what we have to look back now on is the first decade of the 2000s. That was pretty damn good. They
Oh
had
my
a
gosh.
nucleus. They had a nucleus, and they didn't win playoff games after 2002, but they had a nucleus. They had players. They had one year they had the MVP and the Cy Young and what did they
Gold
have?
Glove center fielder.
Gold
Yeah,
Glove. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, look at this. Look at this collection. Who do you keep? Who do you want? Who are you keeping? I don't know.
Well, it's
It's
just it's there's no and there's an unlikable quality about everything. I mean, Judd, from ownership all the way down, it's just kind of a distant, passionless organization. And as much as it was frustrating for them to lose all those playoff games in the early 2000s, they sucked you back in every year with
oh
just
sure because they
the
were good.
yeah.
Well. I think it's time to, and what's really disappointing is that just 3 years ago, this was a whole new era of Twins baseball. Out at the, I think this all started when you gathered this blue collar collection of rubes around the rotunda out at
The Mall of America.
mall, and got Juice Sutton, who had never in his life seen a baseball game, and Joe Polad, who took a radio station that they paid 25 million for and sold it for 4. And these two young geniuses told us we had a new era of Twins baseball. And then they opened up a counter with their new logos, and they were trying to charge these rubes $325 a piece for a jersey instead of having free T-shirts out there. They're oblivious to what the hell's going on. I think
It it might be laughed at, but Pat, the last thing. So, and it's not rare, but Joe and Jim have been up in their suite as Dex has documented the past 3 games. Last night, as the whole thing, that Jeffers pops up, the whole thing is
yeah.
coming unglued. The last person standing there was not Joe. He was gone. It was Jim watching the whole thing. I think Jim might be. I'm serious here. Like, Joe can be like, well, we just shouldn't make any changes. I think someone's going to say we have to. From a business standpoint, Joe's going to right size the business right into the toilet, or it's
Yeah.
there already. So Jim was there and watching, and then Jim's the last one to leave. I know Jim's not a dynamo, but at least he's seen the fires of hell baseball wise before. Joe has no idea.
Yeah, I would. I wouldn't argue with you. They can't. They can't just take this. What is this? What? So basically, Judd, you feel like they're going to try to do what these other teams are doing now, and just have TV based on all the revenue is going to be. I got to subscribe. Right? Is that it? Basically?
Yeah, that's what the
Oh
Padres
my,
do.
Padres
The
do. Yeah,
Rockies
but
do.
and
the
then
Padres
run ads
meanwhile.
on the
Yeah.
The Padres,
Yeah, there's
meanwhile,
ads.
have been about 70-10 since the All-Star break.
No, I know, but
And
I'm
they
just
But that's the
saying.
thing.
40,000
But to
in
that
every
point, like,
game.
if you're gonna say, "Hey, we want you to pay directly for this product,"
gotta be
that
good.
works great when you're a 95 win team and you're a fun TV show every night. This is a TV show. You're asking people to pay for a TV show, and yeah, it is. Man,
But,
Pat, if why don't you talk about let's shine some positivity here. Why don't you
all
talk
right.
about if you're looking for a nice drive to shake off the
You know what?
Twins
Shake it
anxiety?
off. I was, I got my convertible from Jim Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers, and I can take a nice evening drive to, you go out, you put the top down, you drive on these beautiful nights, and you just kind of swear about whatever. You can just swear to the sky, and nobody will bother you. You can just say, "What are these clowns doing? These twins?" And it's in a peaceful manner. Well, anyway, Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers. I've been buying my cars there for 12, 15 years. And guess what? Some of the old, reliable salespeople they have there, they have veteran salespeople, been there for a long time, know the business upside down. They're coming back. Neil Hadding was a top salesperson at Valley for 2 decades. He's probably the best truck guy around. He left for a management position elsewhere, but has decided to come back and return to work with his 1,000 old friends. Neil is back. Similar story with Tim Condon. He went to Alaska. He's saying, I'm not staying in Alaska. I'm going back. And he's a sales and finance guy at Valley Group of GM dealers. He's got thousands of former customers, and they'll be back to know he's back. So they got Charlie Fink on their staff. Charlie's been there for years, and he heads the finance department now. These are reliable, trustworthy people who've had a lot of customers, and they know the business. They're not some 23-year-old kids who are hoping to, go somewhere else after their car selling days are over. So Jim Paul and Brett Paul, Valley Group of GM dealers, Apple Valley and Hastings. Right now, low interest rates and factory rebates are back with the Buicks, the GMC trucks, all those great vehicles.
Hey, okay, before what we can do more. I mean, when they're officially dead on Monday, we can do all kinds of stuff. But any just final Twins thoughts, words of wisdom from a longtime ball guy, Pat?
I think we're on the cusp. This certainly in the standings, it's not the equivalent, but this is 2011, and we knew what came after 2011. That they went into 2011, and it's happening, and then they finished 19-50, and which is the greatest collapse in the history of baseball, and that started basically 7 years. They sneaked in 1 year and won half their games or something. But that basically took the magic out of Target Field instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think PR wise, they're right back where they were 3 or so years into that collapse. I think they're right back into there. Maybe more so because people are, there's so many outlets to badmouth them now that they're just getting killed. And you know what? The other thing is, their fans, they're dealing with a kind of a fan base that's not real bright. For instance, I tweeted a thing the other day that they have a higher payroll than Cleveland and the 3 wildcard teams that are going to be ahead of them. And I said, I think we should be giving credit. I think the only reason they hung in there for a while was because of the Pohlads' generosity. Don't you know I'm agitating you, you morons? You start.
Nope.
No sarcasm,
No, they don't
buddy.
know that.
No.
You start.
That's not just Twins
saying,
fans.
What's wrong with you? How can you say that? I don't know. It's the narrative on them right now is awful, awful, awful.
Yeah. Watch them rattle off 3 straight wins, and the Royals get swept by the Braves, and they sneak into the playoffs 3%.
When are they going to play?
Man.
And by the way, have you looked at the weather down there after this hurricane? The floods they're having, man. When are they going to play down there in a month or something?
It's bad.
It's supposed to be cleared up tonight, and then I think the forecast that I saw actually is fine for Saturday and Sunday.
Well,
that might be okay, actually.
if the Braves are going to have games, they're going to have to helicopter people in for the flooded all over the place. Unbelievable. Yeah. I saw very much concern. You know what the big concern down there? They got 4 million people without power. They got floods all over the place. But is it going to impact the Alabama-Georgia game? That is
Right. That's the biggest question. Yeah.
Will Alabama and Georgia be able to play this weekend or not?
Yeah,
that right.
It's hilarious. All right, Pat,
Right.
we'll talk again Monday.
Hey, Twins. Boo.
Boo.
Boo. Okay, goodbye.
All right, Reusse Unchained presented by Josh Arnold.